I never introduce them to video games. Children below 2 years cannot have screen time at all. And they still don't play video games. They're 14 and 13 years old. They still don't play video games at all. 2 years to 6 years, you must have only guided entertainment.
We did a very interesting thing. So one fine day, I just said, let's just sit down and talk about it. And we actually spent a good 3 hours and we wrote up a memorandum of understanding. So it was something like a mutual agreement. She told me why she needs to use the screen, and I told her, why I think the content needs to be monitored and why I think I need to know what she's, doing online.
Now, she's a teacher, you're an educational psychologist and an ophthalmologist, experts in your own fields. When you parent your children, especially when it comes to topics like screen time, which are a constant debate at homes, do you parent with your expert hat on, or does that sort of go away when you enter your households, and are you struggling like the rest of us parents at home?
For me, I'm a very, very conscious parent that way. So, from when my daughters were young, I've consciously restricted screen time at home. So, when they were little kids, there was not, many digital programs that they were exposed to. They used to play with pets, toys, cousins, neighbors, and that's all they knew. Yeah. And I never introduced them to video games. And they still don't play video games. They're 14 and 13 years old. They still don't play video games at all. And they don't regret it also. See, sometimes the peer pressure is there, but when they learn to handle that also, it's okay. So I'm consciously a screen-free parent at home. And how much it's helped me is when I travel so much for work, I don't have to think of what my children are doing at home. They do what they have to do. And as simple as that.
Right. How lovely. How about you, Shweta?
I step in home, the expertise is out the window. Because, especially with children, I have a daughter who's going to be a teenager very soon. And my expertise really doesn't work on her. She says, Amma, this is for other kids. They listen to you. Try something different with me. So, I've had to sort of go back and think about my parenting style when it came to screen time particularly. So when she was younger, it was a bit easier. And, I would be a little more authoritarian. But now that she's grown a little older, those ways don't work anymore. So, as parents, I think we have to keep reinventing our strategies. We have to keep reinventing the way we think about screen time. So, we did a very interesting thing, okay? We actually, because this was an everyday battle, screen time. So, one fine day, I just said, let's just sit down and talk about it. And we actually spent a good 3 hours and we wrote up a memorandum of understanding. So it was something like a mutual agreement. She told me why she needs to use the screen, and I told her, why I think the content needs to be monitored and why I think I need to know what she's, doing online. So I think it was worth it. Those 3 hours were really worth it. I can't say that the MOU is,
No, that's true, because they are also getting very smart and asking a lot of questions, sometimes the right questions. So it's important to also be reasonable and also explain, as opposed to saying, no, you just can't do this. That doesn't work with kids these days. Yeah.
Because if you don't explain, the internet is going to give them another explanation, which is sometimes not required. It's better that as parents, we introduce rules, and then we also explain to them why we have those ground rules at home.
True. Very true. Yeah, completely agree. What does excessive screen time do to our children, right? What have you seen in your experience? I'd love to hear from you, from as a educational psychologist, as an ophthalmologist, and even as a teacher, right? What have you seen that's alarming and scary at this point?
See, there are a lot of psychological problems that children face when they have excessive screen time. When I say excessive screen time, children below 2 years cannot have screen time at all. 2 years to 6 years, you must have only guided entertainment, which means when your child is watching something, there is another person sitting and watching the same thing with the child. Because initially it used to be YouTube and YouTube Kids. We used to say, okay, please have only YouTube Kids for your children. But today, even in YouTube Kids, there is a lot of abusive content. There is a lot of violence. There is a lot of inappropriate content that a child should not see, that is presented to them in a cartoon format. And that's not okay. So you must know what your child is watching and limit screen time to less than 45 minutes a day. When I say screen time, it includes TV, phone, iPad, laptop, all of this put together. And if it's TV, it's fine, okay? At least 45 minutes of TV watching, you know what the child is watching. But if you're sitting there and doing only this all the time, your child is doing this, very, very dangerous. You know what will happen? The question I'm coming to. This child will lose interest in everything else around it. Nothing will interest the child. Recently, I went to a birthday party. This party had bubbles, had caricature, had chocolates, return gifts, cake, dancing, singing, magician, which will, for us in our age, it'll entertain us.
Excited.
Exactly. But children were not excited. They did not like it. Only 30 minutes they were able to do that. And after 30 minutes, they go back to their mothers and say, Amma, Amma, phone, 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 phone. And this is dangerous according to us. That is not okay. You cannot grow up to be a normal human being. There is a lot of other problems. There's social isolation, desensitization, de-individuation, over-sexualization, name it. This child will face it in adolescence, and it's going to be very difficult to handle these children in adolescence.
What age is it that you're referring to here?
All these problems, you will start seeing these problems when your child steps into 2-digit age, 10 years. Until 9, everything will be okay.
So that's when it hits.
Exactly. See, until then, they will have other problems like speech delay. A child that's supposed to actually speak proper sentences when they are 4 and 5 years old, they will not speak. Even 7 years old, they won't be able to frame sentences properly. So when a child is not able to express with words, that child will be an angry child. You understand? This child will go and beat another child because he or she is not able to express what she is feeling for this situation there. When they're not able to express, they become angry children. They become very hyperactive. They become very aggressive. And then parents try to control them with chocolates and sweets and say, okay, darling, have this. And that worsens the condition, aggravates it. So from very young age, you will be able to see a difference between the other normal kids and a child that's affected by excessive screen time. When the child reaches 7 years, it's okay to have 1 hour, 1.5 hours of screen time. See, these tuition classes online school is not considered screen time according to us. Maybe for an ophthalmologist, yes. But according to an educational psychologist, for a screen time is entertainment.